Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So I'm going to show you how I created this cute piece, a-line stylish gown with this ashoke neckline, and we have drawstring sleeves also, and I actually stoned them, not too much of stones. We also have side pockets, that's optional if you want. And there is actually a belt at the back, and you can wear without the belt, so it's going to be like a very free gown on you, and then you have the belt to just snatch it. So that's what all this video is all about. Hi guys, my name is Fatima Yusuf, and on this platform I share sewing tutorials. Please don't forget to subscribe, and let's just get straight into it. I have 6 yards of Ankara fabric in this print, and I have one piece of ashoke in this print. First thing I'm going to do to my Ankara fabric is to remove my gown length, and since Ankara fabric is not long, you see, so it's not going to work like this. So you have to measure using the width. You measure the white line. So I think 4 yards will be okay for me, or not, or 3.5 yards will be okay. Then we also have for sleeve and then for gilly also. So this is it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure my full length twice here, and I'll be adding extra 2 inches to it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to cut it out. Let me do that and come back and show you guys what I have. I have my full length twice plus additional 2 inches here. That's what I have. So I'm going to fold it into 2 because my full length twice, right? So I'll fold it into 2. So for the allowance you can add 4. So that when you fold into 2, you'll be having your 2 inches allowance. So this is what is given. It's folded into 2. So we have my full length like this, right? So that's how you cut for Ankara fabric, because the Ankara doesn't have long length. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to give it another fold like this. Then you take it to your iron and give it a good iron press, and then I'll place it on my work floor surface. Now the next thing I'm going to do is mark the neckline and then the vertical measurement and the horizontal measurement. For the neckline, you don't want it to be too wide, so I'll be using 3 inches, right? Then for the depth, I will be using 1.5. So we have 3 inches by 1.5 inches round neckline. After that, I'm now going to measure a V neckline. That's how deep you want it to be. You guys know I don't like deep V necklines. So I'm going to mark 6 inches as usual. You can use 7 if you want. You can use 8. In one of that 6, I marked 2 inches, right? Just the way we cut for our scrub neckline. So now I'm going to take the 6 inches, that 2 inches to meet our neck width. That is 3 inches like this, right? Good. Then now again from my shoulder, I'm going to measure where I want my ashoke design to stop. So I use 16, you can use 15, you can use 18, you can use 14, depends on where you want it to stop. But I feel like 15, 16 will be okay. In word of that place, I'll also mark 2 inches, then I'll go up to meet that other 2 inches, right? So we'll be having a straight line from our 6 inches to our 16 inches. You understand? So I'm just going to draw a straight line to meet the 16 inches. So that's how you draft the neckline. So we have our back neckline round, and the front neckline, we have that V and the straight neckline joined together. Hope you understand. Very simple and easy to get. Then now on my shoulder, I'm going to divide my shoulder by 2, 7.5, added 0.5, that's 8 inches. So I marked 8 inches over there, right? Good. Then on that 8 inches downward, I'm going to mark 1 inch. That 1 inch will be for my shoulder slope, because your shoulders are not straight. That is why you need your shoulder slope. But sometimes I don't use it, but you should use it. Let's start using it now. Then from that 1 inch, I went down to 9 inches. For this, you can actually use your armhole measurement. Mine is 8, but I wanted it free, that's why I used 9. but I will have used 8, but 9 isn't bad either. To get your armhole, you can divide your bust by 6 and then you add 1 inch or 1.5 inches. So I mark that, and that's going to serve as our bust line in this case. You can mark your armhole line separately, then mark your bust line separately. It's all still same thing. So I just marked everything. So I took it back to the shoulder and it ended up with 10. That other side is 9 because I had 1 inch downward for the shoulders to be understand. So for my half length, I use 16 inches. You can use 15. You can use whatever your half length measurement is, right? Then now on that bust line, I'm also going to mark my shoulder divided by 2 also. So your shoulder measurement, you are dividing by 2, not by 4. I took it straight line down, right? Then there I will also find the middle point. You know I have 9, so the middle point will be 4.5. So I'm going to mark 4.5. Then inward of that 4.5, I mark 0.5 inch. We'll use that to create the front curve, the front armhole. Then now on my bust line, I'm going to divide my bust by 4. My bust circumference by 4 is 9.5. I'm going to mark that, and I'm going to add additional allowance. I'm going to add 3 inches, but like I always say, you can add 2, you can add 3. I like mine to be very free, that's why I do add 3. But if you don't want yours to be very free, I add freeness plenty because we have belts to tighten it, so that's why. But you can use 2, you can use 1.5 inches. You're good. So on the waistline, I also did the same thing. My waist divided by 4 plus 3 inches. So these 3 inches make it very free that you can even wear without the belt, and it will look like a very free gown, like a maternity gown, or yes, something like that. Since I've done that for my bust, I'm now going to form my armhole cuff. So why is the front armhole different from the back armhole? That's because when you check, your back and your front are not the same. You have bust at the front, you don't have bust at the back, so definitely your front and back won't be the same. So now, since it's A-line, you guys already know A-line. I'm very sure most of you are familiar with A-line. So you just take a slant line from your waistline to the end of your fabric and make sure there is a curve at that angle formed. Then I decided to put a cut together pocket. This is optional. I went down 1 inch from my waistline, then I marked my pocket opening. Please mark 7, but I marked 6 for mine. You can mark 7 so it can be very free. Then I just shaped it the way I normally do with my free hands. You guys already know me with this, but you can measure how deep you want it to be, how wide you want it to be. But this wasn't very deep. It wasn't as deep as I wanted. So we are done drafting. Next is to cut. While cutting, you will notice I didn't cut that curvy armhole that we did, right? That's because the one I cut now will be for our back armhole. Like I said, your back and your front structure are not the same when you check. There is bust in front, you don't have bust at the back. So because of that bust, that's why you have a curve inward for your armhole. But in some styles you can actually leave them, no problem, and in some styles it's mandatory you do them. I'm done cutting, so now I'm going to take the inside one out, and then the one that has markings will be my front piece, right? So you see I've taken it out, so now I can cut the armhole for the front piece. So when you're done doing this, you see that your armhole are 2 different things. Then I'll go ahead and cut my front neckline. Right, and this neckline we are replacing it back with ashoke. You can use mikado, you can use duchess, you can use any fabric you want for the front piece. It mustn't be ashoke. You can use crepe for your own gown and then use another color of crepe for the neckline. It's also going to be fine. So this is what we have. So this is our front piece. So we have our front piece and our back piece. You can see the buttes, right? Good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to join them right face facing right face, and then I'm going to join the shoulders. And sorry I didn't mention, because I feel like people already know this, all your markings should be done on the wrong face of your fabric, not right face. That's a normal thing I think everybody would know. So I've joined the shoulders together, as you can see, right? Good. Now I'm going to take my ashoke. I bought 1 piece. They don't sell this per yard. They call it away. They sell it per pieces. So, and the length actually differs, but this was a very long one. I was thankful I got a longer one. So if you have a longer one, 1 yard is okay. One piece is okay. But if you have a shorter one, you might need to get two. So when you get to the market, tell your vendor that you want a longer one. As you can see, this is more than 60 inches, right? So you see it's very long. Now back to my Ankara piece. I'm going to measure my neckline. If you've watched my scrub neckline tutorial, my boo-boo, this wouldn't be a problem for you, trust me. I'll measure all round without the down part, the horizontal down part. I'm not going to measure that part. So I'll measure what I have. Anything you get, you add about 4 5 from 2, you add about from 2 to 5 inches, depends on the available fabric you have. So just to be on the safer side, so you add about 2 to 5 inches. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to cut out what I had, and I added my additional allowance to mine. So I'm going to fold it into two. I didn't know this my own ashoke had curve. So when you go to the market, check. They should give you a straight one, not a curvy one like mine. Because this one I have like destructured. But it still worked out for me. But please make sure you get the one that is straight, not destructured like mine. So now I marked 11 inches for my opening for my collar. I used 11 because I already know what I'm going to use. If you watch my tutorial, the one of ashoke combo, you would know why I stick to 11. And then you measure where you have the full ashoke, and then you measure the middle point. Let's say I had 5, so I'm measuring 2.5, 2.5. I'll measure the middle point. Please don't mind my curvy ashoke. I used it like that. Let me show you how to get that 11. So you see, from where your neckline depth you want it to stop, whether 7, 6, 8, you measure it round from one end to the other. Anything you get, you divide it by 2. So that's what is going to give you the depth of your neckline. So I had 20, let's say I have 20, 21 or 20. I'm supposed to use like 10 point something inches, but I decided to use 11 inches, which is good. So I'm going to stitch from that 11 down to the end. This your stitch, you're doing it on the one you want to be the wrong face of your ashoke. But they say there's no wrong face, there's no right face. But anyone that feels like wrong face to you, that's where you do that stitch. Then now you turn it over, take it to your iron and give it a good iron press. That's what you're going to do. I've done that, I've ironed it. Now I'll bring back my Ankara fabric, right? I'll go to the end of my neckline. I'm going to mark 0.5 inch this side and 0.5 each this side, and I'm going to be notching that part. You can as well fold it into 2 and then just do this, measure 0.5, 0.5, then you will notch that angle here. So you notch here. Anyone that is okay for you, you can do that one that I showed you that I did on the main one, and you can also do this one is easier. You fold into 2 and then you notch, so you know that you notch the right places. So this was one I did initially, so I'll just notch here and notch there, but you can fold it into 2 and do that other method. So now you have this allowance to take inside. If you watch my scrub neckline, you should understand what we are going to do next. So now from the middle part, I'll make sure that my middle pieces are lined like I normally do. The middle piece of your ashoke and the middle piece of your middle point, then you stitch from middle to left, middle to right, then you stop at that where you marked. That's 0.5 where your notch ends. That's where you stop stitching, and where you want to be outside, that's the ashoke, should be facing the right face of your Ankara fabric. I've done the stitching as you can see, and when you bring the ashoke inward to the wrong face, you see that it's going to enter. You've already created like an allowance that you are going to sew. So I just went ahead and notched the ashoke together with where it was notched before, just to clear everything. So I notch it again. Notched the ashoke. We already notched the what's it called, the Ankara fabric. You can also do the notching after you're done sewing based on what you want. Then now what I'm going to do is the way we do for the scrub. You know, you've created allowance. If you give it a good iron press, you see there will be a line that you can follow and stitch if you iron. But me, I didn't iron, so you can give it a good iron press and then you form a line. But yeah, it's already evidence. I'll just take from where my notch stops and I'll stitch to the other side of where the notch stops, and you see it. This is what I have, right? So I stitch the ashoke and the allowance that I have for my Ankara together. I did not stitch it to the body, the main body. So now when you give it a good iron press, you are good to go. Very easy and very understandable. If you don't get it, you go back and watch. You understand what I'm saying? The video itself is even explanatory without me saying much. So I'll give it a good iron press and we are done with the neckline. Now we'll go to the armhole. So you see you have excess. That was why I added excess. I'll just cut off the rest. Then you weave this part and then weave the whole of the neckline. So next thing now is armhole. So like I normally do, I'll just measure my armhole and divide it by 2. This my armhole method will work for most of the armholes, but there is like a formula. There is a basics you're supposed to follow for armhole, but I normally do freehand armholes. Sorry, freehand sleeves, right? So I'm going to following my armhole measurement that I measured one part of it. You can measure total of it and then divide by 2. So that will be the wideness I'll be measuring here. Then I'm going to go down by 3 inches at the place that is open. So this is what we have. This is it. So I'm going to go down this side that is open. I'm going to go down by 3 inches. You go down 3 inches work for most sizes also. Now just use my freehand and form an S curve. Like I said, there are basics for sleeves, but this one works well. Then I'm just going to take it slightly down, right? I decided to use everything, right? But at the end, I want to be having 9 inches wideness. So I added allowance, 2 inches allowance to 10. That makes it 12. Why do I do that? Because I'm going to be removing 1 inch for my drawstring casing. That's why I'm doing that. 1 inch. So one thing I want you to do is, if you're doing this method, I feel like you go down 4 inches instead of 3, because when I stitch this drawstring casing, my depth reduced to 2. So you should go down by 4, so that when you're done sewing, you still have your 3 inches. That was what I did for the second one I made, and it was so nice. So now this is the only pieces of ashoke remaining. That was why I created that style. If I had more, I would have just used the whole of that ashoke at the down part. That was the initial idea. But because it wasn't enough, I decided to do something else. So I cut the same piece that I have for the ashoke for the Ankara also. And since it's drawstring sleeve, you are going to be slitting the middle of your sleeve all. So you have 4 pieces instead of 2 pieces. So you are going to slit it open. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll stitch the addition to each of the 4 pieces separate. So now next thing, I'm going to slit it open. And after doing that, I'm going to stitch the addition to each of the pieces. Yeah. But the Ankara one, I'm going to hem the down part first. Each of the down part, I'm going to hem it before I now stitch it to each of the pieces. So I did it, right? And after doing it, this is what I have. I stitch each of the pieces, and then I now stitched our 1 inch for the elastic for the drawstring casing. I stitched it. So this is the length I have for my sleeves, 27. If you can get 30 is okay, it's just so that it's going to fold up more, but I'll be using this 27 for it. I forgot to film some parts. I created what's it called, the rope I'll be using for my drawstring with my Ankara fabric. Then here I'm going to stitch my sleeve to the Ankara fabric. I'm going to open up this our 1 inch stitch, open it up, then I'll stitch from middle to left, middle to right. After doing that, right, I marked where I want my drawstring to start from. I marked 8 from the upper part. I marked 8. That's it. Then I fold in from that 8. I fold in and stitch to form elastic casing. Then I passed through my ropes. I made 4 ropes, 2 for each. And then when it was at the upper part, I safeguarded it with a stitch. I forgot to film that. I'm very sorry. I have a Bubu top tutorial that I made, that's drawstring. I'm going to drop the link in the description box. You should watch the part. It's same thing. And I just went ahead and then I stitched. I also added this my strap for my ropes, like I normally do at the back. You guys already know that. Then I just stitched in this direction, and I created a long rope with my Ankara fabric. You can use length 60. It's going to work. So I stitched that and I hemmed the down part of my gown. Then I decided to just put some few stones on it, and that was how I created this simple, lovely, stylish Ankara gown. You see, you can wear it very free without the rope. You see what it's giving, right? So that was why I added 3 inches allowance, so you can wear it without the rope, and then you can wear it with the rope. So when you are pregnant, you can remove the rope, and when you have given birth you can put back your rope. And this is what the sleeves look like. You can actually use it without drawing it up, you can use it with drawing it up, your choice. So guys, if this video has been helpful, like I always say, don't forget to do what? Give me a thumbs up, drop a comment, subscribe to my channel. And I want to inform you guys, I'm going to be starting a membership only content very soon. Tutorial, we're going to start with beginners tutorial very soon. So don't forget to join in case you are a beginner that wants to learn more about sewing and cutting. Thank you for watching.